السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, tonight we will explain the basic rules of moon sighting according to fatwa of Ayatollah Sistani. So the best of this rule is قوله تعالى يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس والحج. So they ask you about the new moon sighting, say they are a means of measuring time for people and for the Hajj. So, according to the explanations comes from Ayatollah Sistani, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has established a clear system, obvious method, universal accessible system for determining the lunar month or lunar months. So the rule is seeing the crescent moon with the naked eye in your local horizon. Very basic. So Quran said يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس. System for everyone. Everyone could know when the moon is start, when the month is start. So sighting in another location is generally not sufficient, because if you rely on another cities, that means this method is not available for you. While Quran insists this system, this method is available for everyone. Means if you seen the crescent, then tonight is the beginning of next month. Otherwise, you have to continue 30 days for whole lunar months, for any lunar months, same rule. So don't bother yourself whether this moon seen in other cities or not. You rely on your local horizon only. That's the main thing you need to understand. So, if you seen the crescent on 29th day night, then that means the current month is end, and tonight start a new month. If not, you need to complete 30 days. Very basic. But there is another rules which says if astronomical calculations confirm the moon was above the horizon at visible level in your location, in your horizon, but it is you can't see it because of what? It was prevented only by temporary obstructions like clouds. So in this case, you could benefit from crescent seen in another city, but you need to confirm these things, the following things. So we need to explain what the concept of shared horizon between two cities or more. Let's look at this example. Consider Melbourne and Sydney as example. Does confirmed moon sighting in one city validate the other or not? Very good question. So here, Ayatollah Sistani said, say in your city you couldn't see the crescent. The reason is something like clouds, right? So here, but the crescent is being seen in another city. So what to do here? How can you determine if the current month ended and tonight start a new month or not? How can you decide or understand this rule? So, determining factors via astronomical calculations. So you need to look at the three things. I'll explain that to you. Look at this. So this is horizon, where you're sitting. Now, sun under the horizon, here. Right? The crescent should be somewhere here. So, you look at altitude, which is the line between the moon and horizon. That's called altitude. This is one thing. Another thing, elongation, which is the line between the moon and sun. So 1, 2. The third thing, the percentage of the lights of the moon. Look at these three factors. Now, if the moon's been seen in one city, did not seen in another, we will look at these things and we will compare these things. These specifications, we will compare them. Are they equals or better in one city, worst in another? So there is 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1, both cities have same specifications of the moon, say altitude same height. Elongation, same. The percentage of the lighting of the moon, same. If that's the case, we will say both cities share same horizon. So if the moon seen in either of them, that would be sufficient for the other. Right? That's the first scenario. Scenario number 2. Which is in most cases or all cases. In Sydney, it has always better specification than Melbourne. That's almost always, or at least most cases, you will find this. Sydney would have, the crescent in Sydney would be better specification than Melbourne. What we would do in this scenario or in this case? Here, basically what you need to do, if the crescent being seen in Melbourne, which is worst or less in the specifications, then that would be sufficient for Sydney. Why? Because they couldn't see it because of a cloud or something like that. Temporary destruction. So, here, the worst would be sufficient for the better place. Means here in this scenario, Melbourne would be sufficient for Sydney. Say in Melbourne was sunny day, in Sydney was very cloudy and raining. So if we see the crescent in Melbourne, that would be sufficient for Sydney. That means same horizon, but one way only. Going from Melbourne to Sydney, but did not come back. So the third scenario, the opposite way, which is the crescent being seen in Sydney, but did not in Melbourne. So that won't be enough, not sufficient for Melbourne. Why? Because if the crescent being seen in Sydney, which has better condition, these things, this specification I showed you, higher specification than Melbourne. So that won't be enough for Melbourne. If the crescent being seen in Sydney, that won't be enough for Melbourne at all. So the rule is very basic. If you've seen the crescent in your horizon, you rely on that. If you did not, you need to complete 30 days. If the crescent seen in another place, another city, that may be sufficient in case of the moon won't be seen in your local horizon because of clouds or something like that. So in this case, you need to look to the specifications according to astronomical information and compare specifications
of the moon in two cities. So basically, say this scenario. It was a clear weather in Melbourne, sunny day, but we couldn't see the crescent. And the crescent was seen in, say, Canberra or Sydney, for example, or Adelaide. Would that be sufficient? Of course not. Why? So if we try to see the crescent, but we couldn't see it, thus most likely means in the moon in the level, it hasn't received the level to be seen by naked eye. Otherwise we will see it. Why we couldn't see it? Because not in the horizon, in our horizon, at the level of seeing the crescent. Very basic. But if the sky was cloudy, then maybe it was visible, but we couldn't see it. So in this case, we will say, is it seen in another city? If yes, is that city compared to Melbourne same specifications of the moon in two cities or not? If yes, that would be sufficient. If not, is that city better or worse? If that better, that won't be sufficient. If that worst, yes, would be. So if it's worst or same, would be enough. If it's better, won't be. I hope that would be very clear rule. So we will conclude the result. So according to Quran, يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us say public calendar. Everyone could monitor it. Public calendar or public watch in the sky. Wherever live, you could determine the beginning of the lunar month. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives all people basic rule. Just monitor the sky. Have you seen the crescent? If yes, then on the 28th, 29th of current lunar month, that means this month ended. If not, you need to complete it 30 days. Very basic. So linnas means for all people, for everyone. Very basic. So that's why Ayatollah Sistani did not accept telescope. Why? Telescope is not available for everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't give a special calendar that won't be discovered only for special people who owned telescope, who can operate it. But for other people, they can't use it. They don't know. That's why Ayatollah Sistani said, according to Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you, as I said, just for explanation, a public calendar in the sky. Whether you can read and write or not, you could know the beginning of the lunar month just by monitoring the sky in your local horizon. Inshallah, that will make it very clear. So very basic, very clear. Monitor the crescent, the moon in your horizon. Seen it on the day of 29th of current lunar month. Seen it in the month tonight, the beginning of the next month. Not seen it, complete 30 days. So in most cases, you don't need to monitor what happened in another locations or another cities or another horizons. So I think I explained these rules. It's very basic. So I welcome you to ask any question if you have about these rules. Anyone have a question about it?